The Te Matatini Festival first started in 1972, known then as the Polynesian Festival. The festival originally screened on TVNZ since its inception more than 50 years ago, and this year it returned to its television home. TVNZ Deputy Content Creator Navak Rogers of Rongo Whakaata and Tongan descent is with us now. Tēnā koe ahoa. Thanks for joining us.
Tēnā koe te tūngani.
Now, it was great to catch up with you at Te Matatini. It's been too long, obviously. How excited were you to screen Te Matatini on TVNZ this year, in light of the fact that we haven't had the festival for 4 years, primarily due to COVID?
Look, it was an extraordinary experience being at Matatini, seeing so many of our whānau. I mean, obviously, with the impacts of Gabrielle, we were really concerned about what would happen with our kahununu groups. I'm obviously from Te Tairawhiti, so understanding all of the impacts down there, as well as what was happening up north, meant that, we weren't even sure whether we were going to be able to continue with the festival at one point. COVID, we've had it delayed for 2 years in a row now, and that's been really, really tough. But seeing everybody on stage and seeing our language and our culture front and centre, having it here in Tamaki Makaurau was particularly special because we were able to see all of our whānau and relations, as well as all of our kaimahi out there at Eden Park. And then just seeing, all of the tamariki, all of our kids coming through. It was my son's first stand, so it was a particularly special one. My mum managed to get up in a tuke. So it meant that, we were able to see him alongside all of the cohort from Punua Waioria up there alongside Peria, Tupoi and G with Angitu. So it was one of those ones, my feet are ngingi, but my heart is full.
Yeah, beautiful. It was great. It was like a Māori reunion, and proud to be Māori. How many people tuned in to watch Te Matatini? Do you have stats on viewers watching online, and did you see much interest from a global audience?
Yeah, so all of the content that TVNZ streams or broadcasts is broadcast just here in Aotearoa. So we're still waiting on the stats from Australia that was through Haka Translate. And I think, given that 1 in 6 Māori live in Australia, it'll be interesting to see what those numbers are. We're still getting all of our figures together, but the numbers that I can share before the press release goes out is that we generated 1.7 million streams, which is a huge number of people watching the content over those 4 days. It had nearly 730,000 people watched on TVNZ2 and 167,000 users or people logging in used it on TVNZ Plus. Now, we saw so many watch parties or, watching it at the marae with the kura or with their whānau. So that is just, one person logging in. So we're particularly excited about that and level of engagement across the 4 days.
Navak, what were some of the biggest challenges TVNZ faced during Te Matatini?
Look, I think it was the first time, as you said in the intro, Neil, that TVNZ had done the festival. So there were a lot of things that, we were having to learn differently. I think as well, because audience behaviour has moved significantly in the last 4 years, getting things up like Megaphone, which was the app that allowed people to send in photographs or video, working out how to do all of that stuff. That was brand new for us. Haka Translate, having all of those interfaces with the TVNZ Plus as the platform, as well as just, being able to get hold of people. There was a lot of communication issues, given that, down on the East Coast, we weren't sure where everything was at. My whānau group from Whakaata, Tutu Manawa Māori, understanding whether the gorge was going to be open or not, how were they going to be able to fly up, how were you going to get people there. Yeah. So there were a lot of those kinds of challenges, but I think technical was the first one, and just, the fact that TVNZ had, I don't think, people had never experienced Matatini before, so knowing what it was going to take to pull that broadcast together, we had an incredible team working around the clock on it, but there were a lot of technical things that were happening behind the scenes. Thankfully, we had Scotty and them at the front holding it down for us.
Absolutely. What was the feedback like, both positive and constructive?
Yeah, look, I think, the old phone logs tend to go whenever, you have Te Rauhiringa presenting the weather in Te Reo Māori. If you, the first time Morini read a bulletin for midday, we get there are a lot of racist people out there now. So, you'll get the odd one of those, but we just kind of push those all aside now and just ignore that feedback and tell them to go and watch a different platform. But it has been overwhelmingly positive. The
Cool.
number of people, we had a screening here, even just in the atrium at lunchtime for Kaimahi, and the number of people who rang me, or there were pictures of people crying, because I think people who haven't had the privilege of growing up around our language and culture, it's like a missing piece that they didn't know was there. Jason Fleming, who's working on a film, he is on a whole lot of Guy Ritchie films, UK actor, came across and he's working on Mike Jonathan's film, which started filming yesterday at Aotearoa. So he walked past the television screen, saw it, booked himself a flight on Saturday to fly out. That got cancelled, so he hired a car, drove up and came and watched, and was completely and utterly moved. Then he messaged me and said, I'm back in Aotearoa and I'm watching all of the groups now, online. So that's the kind of power. You're moved on a wider level, on a level that you don't even maybe have the words for. And so I think that's been the power of introducing new audiences to our language and culture through kapaka.
Yeah, nicely said. As far as the future of the festival is concerned, will TVNZ potentially consider a pay-per-view platform?
Look, you kind of never say never, but first and foremost, it would need to be free to air to reach our audiences. Our people don't have the levels of putia necessarily to be able to afford that. So I think as long as it was here, that's what we would be advocating for. A lot of that, though, would be left up to Te Matatini in terms of the rights and how they want to see that content rolled out. That would be a Matatini call, aka shell call.
TVNZ Deputy Content Creator Navak Rogers, thank you so much for joining us, e hoa. Great to see you, and we look forward to more amazing television coverage of Te Matatini in the near future. Ngā mihi.
Ka nau te mihi ki a koe. Kia ora.